Today we are going to be doing the IELTS writing task 2 for the academic IELTS. So let's get straight into it. Firstly, a quick overview of the test format. The time you have for this essay task is 40 minutes. This includes planning and checking your essay, so time management is essential. Do a few practice questions under these strict time conditions before your actual exam. I recommend leaving around 5 to 7 minutes for planning your essay and then 5 minutes at the end to check it. Next, the word count. There is no word limit to how much you can write for this task, but there is a minimum of 250 words. So, you should have a completed essay of 250 words by the end of the exam. Finally, you must write in a formal academic style. Unlike the IELTS General, where the style is a bit more free, the IELTS Academic test requires its students to demonstrate their ability to write in an academic manner. Now, what makes one essay more academic than the other? It's worth answering this quickly so you understand what is required of you. The style of an academic essay differs in the following ways. Firstly, when we say formal writing, we mean writing that is suited to the style of communication used in specific contexts. Think of things like report writing for a company letter to a client, or a written law contract, all of which have a standard structured way of presenting information to the reader. This then brings us on to the structure of the essay in an academic setting. All academic writing is really about making your argument, but there is a formal structure or official way of presenting that argument. In this case, the clear structure of an introduction, main body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Next, you need to try to stay objective. Objective means that you do not let your own personal views come before the evidence you are presenting. Most academic writing is led by the evidence. So you need to maintain an objective tone. Avoid personal opinions or emotions unless a question explicitly asks you to state your own opinion without any evidence. However, in academia, this is rare. Then we have avoiding what is referred to as colloquialisms. Colloquialisms are informal expressions and language. For example, avoid using contractions in your essay, such as writing "it's" instead of "it is." Also avoid the use of idiomatic expressions like break the ice or cost an arm and a leg. Idioms tend to make the essay sound unprofessional or less official. Finally, academic essays showcase critical thinking. Academic writing is about analysis and evidence-based arguments which you build as you develop your essay. Again, this goes back to the idea of maintaining an objective tone and letting your argument and evidence speak for itself. Let's take a look at one quick example paragraph before we complete our own question. Here we have an example of an introduction to an essay about climate change. I've color-coded it for you. Let's quickly read it together. The escalating impact of climate change on global ecosystems, attributed to human activities like industrial emissions and deforestation, poses a significant threat. This essay explores the urgency of implementing sustainable practices to mitigate adverse effects, contributing valuable insights to the ongoing discourse on climate change. It will delve into the interconnected environmental dynamics and examine the potential implications for biodiversity and ecosystem stability. Now, the first part of the essay in purple basically rephrases the question. The second sentence in red summarizes the purpose of the essay, and the black text lets the reader know what is coming in the essay or the anticipated solutions. This is a perfectly structured paragraph and passes the academic test of style. But also, look at the squared boxes which show you the type of language being used, which are words one often hears when discussing or reading about climate change. When we talk about climate change, we talk about the impact, ecosystems, human activities, industrial emissions, deforestation, sustainable practices, and so on. All these words are concise, relevant, and collocate. When it comes to an academic essay, collocations are very important. Collocations are combinations of words that frequently appear together due to common usage by native speakers, both verbally and in written English. For example, we always say strong wind and heavy rain in English, never heavy wind or strong rain. This sounds very odd to the English ear. Similarly, we always say climate change, never environment change. We say eco-friendly and never eco-nice. Such pairs of word combinations are just combinations that are commonly used together. When a non-native changes this, it sounds very odd to the native speaker. So become familiar with collocations. One book I'd recommend is the Oxford Dictionary of Collocations. I've pinned the link in the comments below. But don't worry, you can find lots of resources on the internet for free. Now you can't predict the exact question you will get on the day of the exam, but you can think about the topics that might come up. Here are some topics that frequently occur in IELTS writing exams. Things like education, technology, the environment, society and culture, health, global issues, work and careers, and other social issues. Like I said, it's not easy to predict which questions you will get on the day. So, what I would recommend is trying to read broadly on these subjects and listening to things like the news and podcasts to do with such topics. Having a diverse range of vocabulary will also help you in your speaking exam too. Now, let's look at the question we will be completing today. Many people believe that AI technology will change the world as we know it forever. However, while some people believe this change will be good for society, others believe it will be bad. In your opinion, do you think AI technology will be good for society or bad? If so, how? You should give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own experience or knowledge to support your response. Your first step should be to analyze the question itself. Initially, you want to identify and circle key words in your question. What this question is asking you is pretty clear. Its main topic is AI, its impact on society, and it wants to know whether you think this impact will be good or bad. This question is what we call an opinion-based question. Now remember, although it is asking you for your opinion, it wants you to back your opinion up with some evidence. Remember, this is an academic essay, so think about things you have heard and read about on this topic and use that as your evidence. Don't waste time. Decide on your position quickly. In a question like this, it is possible to provide reasons for both sides. So just choose your position and stick with it. Now, once we have our position, we need to quickly brainstorm our ideas. You need to come up with at least 2 to 3 quick ideas to support your position. In this quick brainstorm I took the position that AI will have a good impact on society because it will improve work by making us more efficient, quicker, and thereby freeing up time for leisure. Next, I said it was good because it will help to advance and accelerate medical knowledge, which will help us find cures for diseases. Finally, I thought about how it would help us to innovate quicker by speeding up creative problem solving on such important issues such as climate change. Of course, if you take the opposite view that it will be bad, then you can come up with things like how people are worried about losing their jobs to AI and how many are afraid of AI becoming too powerful and taking over the world. But I think I want to remain more optimistic here. A good practice is to put your ideas into a table with 2 columns and put the reasons and the evidence side by side. So here, when I talk about the benefits of AI to our work life, I state that this will be through more streamlined procedures and automation. Many manual and office-based tasks will become far quicker and easier to do, everything from writing to graphic design to marketing research. In terms of healthcare, I give examples of AI's ability to detect diseases by being able to analyze scans, detect abnormalities, and then diagnose the medical issues faster than any human physician could. Finally, for innovation, I will discuss how AI models can help us to become more creative to tackle issues like climate change by producing computational models and solutions to clean energy. Again, don't give too many examples, just one or two for each point will serve as evidence as long as they are realistic. Now that we have our ideas, it's time to start writing. Let's look at the introduction. Let's read it together. In contemplating the impact of artificial intelligence on society, I am inclined to believe that its influence will be predominantly beneficial. AI has the potential to reshape the world in various positive ways, contributing to advancements in work efficiency, healthcare, and finding innovative solutions to crucial problems we are facing in the world, such as climate change. The elements of a good introduction really have three parts. I've color-coded them for you here. Our first statement in red is the restatement of the question. It signals to the examiner that you have understood the question. Next, in green, you need to outline the position you will be taking since this will frame your argument. Finally, in purple, you will need to briefly state what evidence you will provide for your position going forward. Think about the introduction as a kind of movie trailer for your essay. It is brief, but lets the examiner know what to expect. Remember, keep it short and don't say too much. You might end up repeating yourself. Now, let's move on to the meat and bones of the essay, the main body. The elements of the main body have a similar structure to your introductory paragraph, but differs in its content. The goal of your main body paragraph is to present evidence for the position you have taken. Let's read it. Firstly, AI can significantly enhance efficiency across various sectors, leading to streamlined processes and increased productivity. For instance, automation in industries can minimize repetitive tasks, allowing human resources to focus on more intricate and creative aspects of their work. This transition can potentially boost overall job satisfaction, foster a more dynamic workforce, and leave time for leisure. The opening sentence introduces our first argument. It is what we call the topic sentence because it outlines the topic of the paragraph we are writing. Secondly, the green develops this point by providing evidence of ways AI can impact our work lives for the better. Finally, you finish with an explanation which outlines what kind of impact this will result in for society. Now, you apply this structure to all the paragraphs in your main body. Before we move on to the conclusion, the other important element in academic essay writing is how you move from one sentence and one paragraph to another. These are what we call transitional phrases, and your IELTS examiner will be looking at this. So let's look at some that you can use in your essay. Think of transitional phrases as written signposts for your reader. There are different types. For example, something like in contemplating or when considering is a common introductory phrase. Things like firstly, secondly, thirdly, and finally are sequential transitional phrases that are also commonly found in essays. Next, phrases like for instance and for example are illustrative or example transitional phrases. They elaborate on a point by introducing solid evidence. We also have additive transitional phrases when you want to make a further point. For example, a point connected to a previous paragraph. We have contrastive phrases such as however and nonetheless, which signal that you are making a point that differs slightly but is still connected to your subject. Finally, we have concluding transitional phrases like to conclude and to summarize, which basically tell the reader that they have reached the end of the essay. Remember, the conclusion is also a summary. In fact, many people who have lots of research to do in academia normally scan the introduction and conclusion of an essay or article before reading the entire thing. This lets them know if the article is relevant for their own research. So, the introduction and conclusion of an essay is very important for the reader. We've made it to our conclusion. Your conclusion is the whole point of your essay. All the other parts of the essay should have been leading your reader towards your conclusion. So let's finish the essay in style. Let's read the conclusion together. In conclusion, my perspective leans towards the positive impact of AI on society, which I believe is inevitable. The potential for increased efficiency, revolutionary healthcare advancements, and transformative innovations positions AI as a force for positive change. For me, the societal benefits far outweigh the societal risks if we fail to take full advantage of this new technology. Here we see the restatement of the thesis as well as your position in red. This is followed by reminding the reader of the main points, along with the evidence you provided for them. Finally, a good conclusion is aware of the consequences of the overall argument, and here I added something that acknowledges the risk but still emphasizes my own position. I am going to leave you with the finished essay, which I have color-coded for your benefit. If you want some homework, then go through this essay and pick out vocabulary you don't understand and try to construct your own unique sentence. If you like this video, then please hit that subscribe button. Feel free to leave a comment or a question and share this with anyone you think might benefit. Study hard and see you soon.